I'm Suresh Makhija, a seasoned corporate travel professional and author of The Rookie Corporate Gardener. I'm delighted to be hosting The Journey Manager, which is the corporate TMC series for the Dope News. I look forward to bringing to you fruitful insights from the perspective of the corporate service providers, particularly the travel management companies. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Journey Managers. I have joining me today Indiver Rastogi, who is President and Head of the Corporate Travel Management Unit at Thomas Cook India. Welcome Indiver. I'm delighted to have you with us today. Right at the outset, our viewers would love to hear from you about your journey in the industry and what actually attracted you to travel initially.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Suresh. Thank you for having me on this show. This is my first one on camera. I generally do video calls or voice calls mostly with the press, as I'm a spokesperson for, the aviation side from my company. But thank you for having me on the show. Just a little bit about myself. I've basically been in the travel industry for over 17 years. I started with the cargo industry. That's where I was supposed to be because our family business was there. My mother used to run a cargo freight forwarding business. So I did my master's in science and logistics, went overseas for my studies and came back thinking I'll expand that business and add logistics to the freight forwarding business.
Right.
But really didn't happen by design. We had to change course. In that business, you were speaking to boxes, you weren't speaking to people. And it became very frustrating for a person like me who wanted to have more interactions with people, learn more about life and all of that. And at that time, I was not at that age to make the right decisions of what I want to do. I just wanted to go with the flow with life. But one dinner conversation after I came back with my folks, I decided to say, you know what, this ain't happening for me. And it is, I think that time when my parents sold off that business. But and I had to restart my journey from travel. Parents have been in travel all their lives. Dinner conversation, at least a part of dinner conversations was always about either you're traveling or hearing some conversations between your parents. So the bug was there and it bit me. So I started with Air France, did a few years. It was all selling. So, and then moved to Amex. Amex was my client. They poached me in, was with them for over 4 years. And very, very interesting journey. I moved to Bangalore, came back to Delhi, was there for a few years. And then obviously Thomas Cook, had an opportunity and flew to Bombay for the meeting. I was supposed to be positioned in Bombay, but then, I've been here 12 years since. So I have loved this journey. I love the travel business. I mean, it's so complicated. It's not, as I say, it's not as simple as issuing a ticket. There are multiple variables to this business. But I love it here, and I've been here with them for over 12 years, and so far so good.
No, great, and I think your contributions for the 12 years have clearly reflected and visible within the industry as far as outsiders are able to see Thomas Cook. So great stuff. So Indiver, we are focusing on COVID in this series of the Journey Managers. And while it's something that has been spoken about a lot, what is different today is that it's been close to 6 months that we've been in lockdown or travel has got affected. How do you see the situation having panned out and the effects that it's had on the industry?
So, this has been a very long pause, if you ask me. And my answer is not going to be any different from many others who you had on the show. We don't know when this is going to end, but we've constructively used the pause to our benefit to clean, repair our shop, and do many things that the business requires. We've put everybody on various projects. We've created cross-functional teams. We've utilized this time really well, and we are in the process of reimagining a lot of things. That we were unable to do when the business was in flow.
Yeah.
So we've been very busy with very little revenue, as you know, right? Not the perfect situation to be in. but pretty confident that when the gates open, we will be very different from what we were pre-COVID. And the little that we've done, in our business, we've kind of made sure that we have created stories of impact, which are definitions we've created of where we want to go. So before, when this pause started, so we had a brilliant January and February, and then we all started moving into the lockdown period. And we weren't, sure when this is going to end. So everybody was thinking first going to be 3 months, 4 months, things are going to come, medicine's going to come. We are all going to be out of this. So I think that time our mindset was different. Now our mindset is, different in terms of what we're doing with our business. But I can tell you, it's been very satisfying as well, as much as it's been frustrating to not do business and not be in, you're unable to see your customers and all of that. But I think we're getting ready to face our customers, and COVID has shifted certain things in the business, and how things are going to interact. I do believe, as much as we're doing this interaction today on a video call, you would prefer to do this interaction face to face tomorrow, where we're sitting in front of each other, having a cup of coffee and having an informal dialogue. Not everything is going to be replaced by virtual calls, etc. But I think what I'm excited about is the impact stories we've created of various things which touch our customer, which touch us as employees, and we've tried to see what do we need to do with it. And there's a lot more work in front of us right now. But if you ask me where this is going, we don't know. But I'm confident this all is going to be behind us. In fact, one of the earliest sessions I was participating on an executive roundtable, I had 4 of my industry colleagues who said this is going to, take a little while. This is going to probably stretch to 2022. But I was very confident this is going to all end by 2020, and 2021 would be a brilliant year. Maybe we have a little bit of overhang in the first quarter, but I think things will bounce back. People are locked up. They're frustrated. They want to travel. They want to get their business back on the road. So there will be an initial surge, and then you will start to see a new normal, and then you will start to see a little bit of growth. But I'm excited to kind of witness that and obviously the changes we've made in the organization, how that will pan out when the customers, come back to doing business with us.
I agree with you. I think we should start seeing, probably from Q2 of calendar 2021, we should start seeing things picking up. And I think you've described it appropriately. We already experienced that when domestic travel reopened to some extent, the sharp surge and then the plateau, and then we see how it goes from there. Indiver, you mentioned changes that you've made within the organization. Could you share some insights around those?
So the first thing we did was to understand the problem statements. Right. And the second thing we said is, how does that going to impact our customer and employees internally? And we started working on those 2 definitions. We created cross-functional teams in the organization. And we wanted to improve our efficiency because, what I like about our business is you're able to make some changes and you're able to see impact and profitability. I think some of the headline words were productivity. How do we, create a new benchmark in terms of how many tickets can we issue, assisted, non-assisted through technology, and digitally kind of supported, et cetera, et cetera. So we tried to create some simulations on how do we want to service the customer in the same effective way, keeping it very personalized, but yet making it more efficient for us, and putting more tools for the customer to play with, to say, they get more information, they get more content. Now there's so much of content that's available, and there is so much of more content that's going to be made available. How do we make sure that the customer sees effective, clear data points in when they make decisions for their travel, or when they want to change policies, or in stuff like that? So we've created a diagram of what we believe basis customer feedback. We've been in this business for the longest time. So we've got actionable data with us, which we wanted to put to good use and say, let's take that feedback and let's put it to some action and create some models around how we want to service our customers. Right. So we are giving customers various choices to interact with us digitally, through in-person and all of that. How do we track productivity? How do we track every little thing that we do? In our business, when you're a large transaction size, you want to make sure that there is very good governance. And in that, how do we make sure that every transaction we have, from point A to point Z, how do we create an absolute visibility for the customer and us on where their transaction is, on how that ticket has been canceled, how the credit note has been generated, how that has been transported back to the customer, how the refund has come back. So the entire journey has been plotted really well. And we wanted to make sure that we make that, we improve on that as we go along. Now, there are some industry limitations. Obviously, we have built things around that to make sure that we are more effective. But largely, those are the things. We're making user interaction more interesting, their tools more interesting, the UX, UI to be more interactive, and many things like that. But we have created heads on various subjects, and we've got leads in my business who are leading those various subjects. Customer story, internal story, all of that. And I'm happy that we've made significant progress, and we're still engaged with our customers to take more feedback, because I think they're the ones who's going to eventually use it. So their feedback in this journey is very critical. So some of them are even involved with us to be part of that project to make sure that we get to that point. But it's very interesting. So I'm really waiting for the gates to open, put those new things out there. And from a governance perspective, where you sit, you want to make sure that your business is foolproof, that everything that you do, transact, et cetera, goes through the right process. You exactly know your forwards, you exactly know what's stopping behind, and where you need to make the fixes. We don't want to be late, because when you're late, you generally have financial impacts, coming to your P&L. We want to make sure that, we catch the mistake or the problem at the time it happens. It's like when somebody says, right, when you've got bad news, take the lift and come up. When you have good news, you can take the stairs and come up. We want the bad news to be known, so we take immediate action and we are able to recover from that. So we've been on calls, all day, from 10 to 6, sometime 8, but and very constructive calls, because we're looking at different things now. So and everyone's engaged. So one of my colleagues made this comment to me that you're making us work too much, and I was like, never mind, we'll take it easy when business starts, because I think we're making life easier for us when business starts in many ways. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm hopeful that things will come back to track, and we are able to deploy all that we've done, and that is in store right now.
Hard work really never hurt anyone, Indiver. And in my view, it's an investment that pays off very well in time. Are there any extraordinary asks from the customer? Maybe in terms of preparation that they're doing, and they want their travel partner to adapt accordingly.
To be very honest, Suresh, they've been more than reasonable. I think I have not seen any. I think they're even understanding how the world's going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be the same. So a lot of things may change. The pricing may change. There's going to be economic contraction. There's going to be new models and new variables in the business. We're all here to make money. I think what we do transparently is tell the customer how much we want to earn from them. And nobody wants to make, nobody wants to give you any hurt or injury in terms of at a P&L level. So they understand where it's going. I think what is our job is to communicate how the variables are changing, how they need to change with times. So some customers who are offline, we're trying to talk to them to go online. Customers who are online, they're asking for more in saying, how do we move to more mobile? How do we create more interfaces, et cetera, et cetera. So every customer has a different journey. And we obviously use what we have and saying, this is what we want to do. And some customers, obviously, global customers have global tools, which they're working on. But there is a wide variety of products that are being deployed in the system. So customers have a variety of products. They can choose what they want. But I don't see any, unreasonable ask to say we need to do this tomorrow or we need to do that tomorrow. I think they're with us in this journey. They're supporting us, if you ask me. And they've been really, I mean, they've been the backbone to all that we've done here, because their feedback has been pivotal in the creation of our reimagined story.
Right.
But you know, the good thing with our organization as well, because we are in multiple businesses, we've not only just said, you know, Indiver looks after the corporate travel business, so he's going to just focus there. We've got my other colleagues at the management level who are, you know, either head of IT or e-business or marketing or HR, and all of us are collaborating in many ways to design and create an organization that is going to be world class for tomorrow. So it's very interesting, and I as a person love feedback and love, you know, learnings. So to curate the right structure, so I kind of keep asking various questions from various people who are not in the business to give me very, very relevant feedback. Otherwise, you generally get conditioned to, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you get conditioned to the same thought and, you know, how you want to do it. So it's very important to get an outside view, people who are not attached to your business, to give you feedback. So I can happily tell you that we have a lot of people who are attached to my project or the redesign project. And I'm very excited for what's going to come through.
I think it's a great initiative that you spoke about getting all your verticals to work together with the customer. Because at this point of time, the customer has more of what they've never had before, which is time, and possibly the focus and the attention to listen. So that's great. Indiver, how's your staff down the line taking all these changes and or upcoming changes that the organization is preparing for?
So great question. I think one part of the whole exercise is to make sure that we realign. So we've been very communicative with our set of members, right? I love doing calls personally doing calls with my entire member set and making sure that we communicate. Right. This is what we've done. This is what we're thinking. This is where we want to go. What do you think? Right? Even a travel consultant who's issuing tickets, his feedback to me is very important, right? So we generally don't take feedback from there and then we try to create an architecture and then it's always a misfit. But what we've done at the start is we've created a journey with their feedback. We've created cross-functional teams, not only till the mid-management layer it's actually going right till the end, right? We are all different people with different responsibilities, right? And how do we create a project team that, you know, where you have a ticketing consultant, you have an account manager, you have a finance person, you have somebody from the other side working together. Mm-hmm. One is they get great exposure. They've never done this before. So they're getting a new thing. We did initially, I think, I don't know the number of hours, but we spent a lot of man hours training people what is customer centricity. Now we can use all these lovely jargons and big words and all of that, but we needed to go down and explain what that means. We wanted to go down to that detail to say, you know, how do we look into the customer's eyes? How do we make sure that we create an impact on every interaction, everything that we do? We've gone down to that level. We've created interest groups. We've created areas where people say, I want to learn this. So one was to get them out of this to say, you know, start asking the question, start saying that you're not good at this and you want to learn this. Mm-hmm. So that was the interesting bit. And some of them I led along with my impact managers, as I call them, to get them out and saying, you know what, leave your job, your current responsibilities on the side and just become a student and put yourself in various. So all my leaders along with me created subjects that we thought that the education that we'll give them would be valuable, right? So we created those little subjects and everybody started attaching themselves. So in one session, you had 100 people. Second session, you had 200 people. Wow. And everybody was learning on the asking questions. So we created a lot of engagement and we created those. It was like a school, right? It was literally like a school that you have a session going at 10, you have a session going at 1, you're jumping from one session to the other. I was loving it, right? Because what I was liking about the session was the energy that people were bringing onto the call to say, you know what, I don't know this. And you know, when people start saying, I don't know this, or I'm not good at this, they start making the real change in their lives, right? And I think we were able to work together as a team to bring that change So things we knew that we are not doing well were all on our things. And we started to create subjects around that to say, let's go deeper into this and find ways to say. So somebody was great at in fair queries. Somebody was great in customer interaction. How do we merge that as one? So we created leads and subject heads to start training people. It was very interesting. I mean, I learned so much, to be very honest. I honestly, in this time, I'm a student myself, learning new things. You put me in front of a system and ask me to make a PNR. Trust me, I'll send you to Barbados if you're asking me to send you to Bombay. So so you know, the thing is, this period taught me so much. It's not funny. And what we've done is we've put everybody on the same journey. Some people are learning that subject, some people are learning something else, but we're all coming together at the end and communicating what we want to do. So where we want to go, I think we've already communicated to our employees. So everybody's in part of that journey, you know, contributing to that change and obviously changing themselves for what we want to do tomorrow.
Sounds like excellent foundations being laid for your new systems and processes. Indiver, a feather in your cap has been the acquisition of Donata's business recently. While acquisitions are not new to Thomas Cook in India, this is a little different because it's not the organization that has been acquired, but the existing business of the entity. Could you share some more insights around this acquisition and how it's going to benefit the organization, number one, and number two, how are you going to be integrating that part of the business, because they were probably being serviced by an organization whose systems and processes were very different from yours.
Yeah. So to be very honest, there was an opportunity. We found that opportunity. We were interacting, and it came something that we could, you know, perfectly work with. To be honest, it's more of migration of customers to our system. And we kind of worked on that for a very long period of time to say, this is what is an opportunity. And we said, let's find a way to get this. I think after the HRG move for Donata, you know, they were servicing a different set of customers. But they still had a lot of customers with them. And we found an opportunity because they were deciding to leave the country and you know, close their operations here. So we found an opportunity. We did a handshake with them, and ever since we've been working with them to migrate. So a little extra responsibility has been to make sure that every customer that we took on gets to understand us, and obviously we also take that same time to understand them. It's all the same service. It's just that they've been serviced differently through Donata, and they've been slightly different process. You've mapped everything with what we do, and we put them through a new journey now, and they're pretty excited, and we are very excited, to be very honest, to kind of service them. Unfortunately, in this pause, you know, we're not issuing too many tickets, so we really don't know how it's going to be. But to be very honest, we've taken a lot of time in migration. We've just not moved customers from here. We first need to take consent, then we need to work with them, communicate with them, and then start to migrate them to our systems. And there's a lot of work. It's like a fresh implementation, to be very honest. But I think what we've done is, and with my teams, we've been able to have a lot of interactions with them, studied every little thing, looked at their pain points, looked at their success journeys, and start to create the transition plan. So it was this customer from one point to the other. This has been a very, very large task, but we've successfully migrated most of their customers to the Thomas Cook side, and we're very excited now. We're waiting for, like I said, we're waiting for the gates to open, and a lot of customers have joined us on the digital journey. Say, you know, we're going to book through you through the online tools, and we're going to use all the tools that you have. So they've been pretty excited about that as well, and we've been very excited about having them on our side. And we're waiting we can't wait. I mean, we want to service them now as the doors open.
Clearly, as I said, feather in your cap. My congratulations to Thomas Cook, and kudos to you and your team. Great achievement. So Indiver, talking about SOTC, how do you see things shaping up as far as MICE is concerned? Is that going to take much longer than regular business travel to get back to anywhere close to where it was prior to the lockdowns?
So like I said, I'm an optimist. So if you ask me these questions, I will come with positive answers only. Yes, I mean, you would think that, people coming together, a lot of people coming together and going to a destination from what the COVID tenets are, you say this is not possible. But I tell you, when travel opens, you may have smaller groups, you may have fragmented, movements, but I think you will eventually see MICE also picking up in the same way corporate travel will pick up. We've actually seen a lot of traction in virtual events and all of that. So in fact, they're already doing a lot of business right now, which is a great thing. Customers want to interact, so the MICE customers want to interact with their dealers, with their things. So we've seen a lot of events come through already, and the more I hear about the MICE customers, we see customers planning for 2021, 2022. They're making plans. Now, obviously, they're just plans right now. You cannot put a date and say you will depart in March or you'll depart in February of next year, because there is a lot that's happening. And but I'm excited. I'm excited to say that there's been a lot of positive interaction with customers. So I honestly feel, if you ask me, corporate travel will open, MICE will also open at the same time.
Great to hear that. That's very nice to hear, even as far as MICE is concerned. Indiver, these have been excellent insights, and you've shared some aspects around preparation for when travel really takes off. I think it's going to be of great interest to our viewers. Is there a brief message that you'd like to share with particularly targeted towards youngsters or not so experienced folks in the travel industry who are probably facing a situation like this for the first time?
So I think my message to everybody is that, get back. This business is going to boom. Travel is going to start. Flights are going to get back. And my perspective is travel is such an emotional commodity, something that you always look forward to, right? It is so close to everybody's heart, whether it's your leisure trip, whether it's your business trip. You all want that to be, you want those things to happen perfectly. So those are dreams, and dreams shouldn't go away. They should be there. So a lot of people join this industry purely because there's so much of good things that you can experience, whether you learn about destinations, whether you learn about technology. You learn this is probably the only industry where you can learn so many different things in so many different ways. So for all the youngsters, and I know there are a lot of travel startups, this is the place to be. I mean, I know that in travel per se, we are the first affected party, and we are the last ones to recover. But I can tell you that when we recover, we will the graph will just go straight up. So I'm very confident about this industry getting back the road with great results, and people have, and there's so much of new jobs that will get created again. So I'm very hopeful. So this is my message to all youngsters, actually.
Thank you so much, Indiver. Thank you for taking out the time. Thank you for sharing some great thoughts. Really appreciate it. And as you mentioned earlier, likewise, looking forward to catch up over a cup of coffee sooner than later, once we're able to get together face to face. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And for our viewers, thank you for taking out the time to watch another episode of The Journey Managers. Do like, subscribe, and share to be able to get notified for all future episodes that we record and bring to you. Thank you again. I'm Suresh Makhija, a seasoned corporate travel professional and author of The Rookie Corporate Gardener. The book is available on Amazon and is a must-read for colleagues who have been or are likely to be affected by the growing magnitude worldwide of layoffs, downsizing, or furloughs. The aim is to support them to deal with the vortex of varying emotions till another job comes by. Also, to utilize the time well, emerge resilient and bounce back stronger and sharper.